So unfortunately, we all knew this would happen, but tariffs are starting to affect the prices of video games and consoles made by other companies other than Nintendo, because today I'm sure most of you have heard Xbox has officially raised the prices of all their consoles and games. They are now saying that they are going to be charging $80 for their upcoming first-party titles. And they also raised the price of the Series S from $300 to about $380, the Series X from $600 to $700, and that 2 terabyte new Series X, I think, was going for $600, and I believe now it's going to be going for over $700. So this is definitely bad news for gaming in general. We all know it's just a matter of time before PlayStation follows suit. And just let me know down in the comments below, what do you all think about this? Do you think it's all Nintendo's fault, or do you think that it's just because of the tariffs? Because a lot of people are pointing the finger and really blaming Nintendo, saying that they paved the way for this by charging $80 for Mario Kart World. And I have to agree, I don't like that $80 price tag. I do think all these companies are a little greedy. I don't really think any of them are really any different. They're all out to make their money. But you have to buy what you think is worth it for you. But going back to the $80 price tag of Mario Kart World, and even the cost of the Nintendo Switch 2, which a lot of people complained about, I honestly think it does all come back to these tariffs, because if you recall, Nintendo did delay the pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch in the United States and in Canada, because they said they had to assess the situation going on with these tariffs. And they did raise prices on accessories. They raised the prices of controllers, basically all their accessories, by about $5. I thought that was reasonable, because I'd rather them had done that than to raise the price of the console itself. And it was rumored that Nintendo had already factored in the price of tariffs regarding the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 console itself. And I think even the $80 cost of Mario Kart World was also another tax just put on there to make sure that they could still make some good profit while they're making less for these with these tariffs going on, just basically trying to make up for some of that. So, I'm not really into the political stuff. Hopefully things will get better. I even seen a post on Twitter X, which I still need to do some research on and verify, that showed a letter saying that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all came together to write a letter, to the United States government, president or whatever, asking for exemptions on these tariffs, saying how it's really going to hurt the industry, the economy, and even some of these smaller developers and publishers. So hopefully things can get better with this situation, but I really don't know. I mean, honestly, not to get political, but to me, regardless of which side of the political spectrum, you agree more with, honestly, I don't think things ever really get better for the working class. That's just my opinion, though. You can believe what you want, but shout out to everyone who knows that there's a reason it's a two-party system. Going back to the main topic here, which is video games, I do think there's a possibility that the expensive prices of modern games and modern consoles can definitely eventually trickle down to retro games and consoles, because as some people find these modern console prices and modern game prices too expensive, they are definitely going to look elsewhere. And I do believe they could be looking at some of these cheaper alternatives, games that are still cheaper right now, consoles that are still affordable right now, like the PS2, the Xbox, the Nintendo Wii, etc. Maybe even the DS, 3DS, PSP consoles that they can hack and download whatever they want. So I do think as people start to get priced out for modern gaming, they're gonna look to retro gaming, and I do believe that eventually it could possibly raise the price on even retro games and consoles. So it's looking like every day gaming is looking like more of a luxury more than ever. There used to be so many affordable options, especially back in the day once a console was phased out. You know, you could get that console and the games for it for dirt cheap, but that is not the case anymore. That has already changed with certain retro consoles like the Nintendo GameCube and certain games on a lot of retro consoles. But for the most part, you know, if you look back on retro, you could always get a lot of games affordably. Who knows if that will be the case a few years from now, but I do hope if that letter that the big three companies, you know, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft sent to the government, the president of the US, I do hope that it will make things get better. But yeah, I definitely think there's some, you know, a little bit of greed here with all these companies, because even the digital games, they still want to charge the same price as physical. You know, I do like Nintendo. You know, that's the console I'm going with, the Switch and Switch 2, because I play primarily all my games in handheld and they don't have any competitor. And I just do like Nintendo games. Everyone has the right to like whatever they like. I think all consoles are cool. You know, PC, whatever you game on, as long as you're having fun. I do think all this Nintendo hate is getting a little silly. People blaming Nintendo fans for all this happening is getting a little silly. I mean, they don't have any competition on the handheld market. And not to sound like a fanboy, but if we're being real, they're really the only console maker that really comes out with games right now. I mean, what is PlayStation doing? Releasing The Last of Us, like, what, 5 times already? Releasing Horizon, you know, a few times already. Nintendo is really the only, you know, company that really has a heritage and history and passion for making games. If you ask me, PlayStation just decided to make everything like a AAA, you know, billion-dollar movie type of game, which is cool. You know, PlayStation's cool. Reason I honestly don't have one or an Xbox is because I really do 99% of my gaming on handheld. I have kids. I work full time, honestly. Sitting down in front of the TV is just not the best option for me. I just love playing in handheld. I can press the sleep button and pick up where I last left off. And I know people like to say, oh, get a Steam Deck. Steam Deck is not an alternative to a handheld console. It's still a PC where you have to tinker with settings. And, you know, for those who want the Switch 2, the Steam Deck's definitely not an alternative because we like Nintendo games. I mean, I know a lot of other people wish Nintendo games came to their consoles. But anyway, what do you all think about this whole tariff situation? I know I don't like it. I'm hoping things get better. But anyway, if you enjoy the content, please drop a like on this video. If you're not already and you enjoy the content and you enjoy gaming content with a heavy emphasis on Nintendo, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, I will catch you all later.